Surrender. Humble yourself before the Lord and say, Father, I messed up. I screwed up. I don't know where I went wrong. Show me. Open my eyes. Open my ears. Help me to see from your perspective. Learn from your past.
Hello, welcome to The Ship, an inspirational podcast designed to equip leaders and entrepreneurs with tools and strategies to strive. Now, here's your host, Tyrone Magwagwa.
Okay, so welcome, my friend. I'm very excited that you decided to come here. I have started this podcast that I'm doing just mainly just to help people that are entrepreneurs and leaders, and just try to get them to get information to them so that they can be able to learn what's happening. So I'm very excited to have Edna Sangel. That's before she got married. And after she got married, she's now Edna Harding or Harding. I don't know how to pronounce it. How do I pronounce
Harding.
it?
Yes.
Harding.
Harding, yes.
How have you been?
Oh, I'm doing great, enjoying the East Coast. We recently relocated to the Northeast side, so it's really cold here in Rhode Island, but definitely enjoying our time here away from the craziness. So I'm glad to be be isolated a little bit, from all the, unfortunately, the riots and all the things that is happening all over.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're married now. I just want to find out, how's the marriage life? How's it treating you?
Oh man, marriage life is amazing. I am ecstatic to not have to worry about men things. What I mean by men things, the stuff that I normally would hire someone to do, he does it. So, but also most importantly, I just love the fact that, he is my protector in a sense where I have someone who's looking out for my best interests, not just in business, but in every aspect of my life. So having someone there, under his covering and under his leadership, as a godly man, to me made my life so much easier, to be honest. So, and then also having, another source of income for our household really allowed me to take a year off and spend time with my new baby girl, which that for me was such a treat because a lot of people don't get a chance to do that, take off from your business and literally focus on just being a mom. And that's what I did. And I loved every minute of it. But apparently, my time is shifting because the Lord is calling me back out there in the marketplace. And so I have been working and being a mom and being a wife and being a minister at the same time. So funny. It's like they can't even put it into words. Like they always tell me there's something different about you. You're not like the rest of them. And they know, I am what I am, I'm very genuine. I'm very authentic. I don't, play the whole charades or play the game. I'm very upfront with my clients about, what my price is. There's no guessing game. It's not a power trip. It's not, and so my point is I don't do business or conduct business like the world does. And it's evident to them. They don't know how to put it into words, but they say it to where they're like, you're different. I like you. I don't know why, but I like you, stuff like that. And so you don't even have to be all preachy and all, Jesus loves you, all this other stuff, but they see it through your character. They see it through your lifestyle. They see it through how you, how you treat others. They see it, how you communicate, how you deal with them when it comes to business. They see all those things through your actions. And I think that speaks louder than words. And ultimately what I do is I don't know, it could be about, just being fair with my pricing. And they're telling me wow, that's really, I'm surprised. And I'm like, it's no haggle price. It's not one of those things where I go really high. I know this is my, this is my bottom line. And ultimately I'm trying to negotiate to the bottom line. No, I give them the best price actually more value for what they're paying for. And that's what Jesus does. He gives us more than what we deserve. And that's how I conduct my business. And they might not understand it, literally, but it's, I guess, through subconsciously, they'll know that it's different. I hope I'm answering your question, but it's been really fun to me because they're shocked, that I'm not, the typical entrepreneur, typical businesswoman or sales rep that tries to go, looks out for my best interests only. And I actually look out for their best interests, and sometimes more than even mine. And they don't get it. They're like, why do you do this? Like, you could be, and especially, it's funny because they're the ones that tell me, like, you need to charge more. Like, this is ridiculous. And I laugh. I told them, I was like, you guys are not my provision. My provision is God. I'm here to make an impact in the marketplace, to teach them how to win in business and in life without, like ruining it for the next generation. Because that's what my whole book is about, is I'm trying to send, set up the next generation on solid ground. Because what's happening is we're setting them up for failure because when I say we, as in the human race, like society, we're instilling bad habits. We're instilling bad things, bad characteristics, things that is only gonna make the society worse. And if we don't do our part, and I'm just one person, if I don't do my part in influencing the marketplace for the better, that's never going to change. It starts with one person doing one thing. And that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing is because it's not about the money. I know it sounds so stupid, but really it's not about the money. If you ask anybody that knows me, that's been my mission since I was a little girl. It's like, I want to make the world a better place. And so I use my business as an avenue to do that. And I love it because I'm building all these relationships with people from all walks of life. And I'm learning so much also about how they think and, their belief systems. And there were many times when I got to pray for the people who were not believers. There were many times where I was able to witness a miracle in their life because of the encouragement, and things that we're making. So it's an amazing thing to truly utilize kingdom principles, biblical principles in your everyday walk, but especially in your business, because it's a bigger impact, because those businesses are directly affecting society, and that's what, meaning the livelihoods of other people, if you know what I mean. And if they could be helping make decisions for laws and regulations and things like that. So having that direct access to them and be able to instill God's principles without them knowing it's God's principles, it's awesome. It's like a whole undercover CIA thing, in the marketplace. So I love it. Absolutely. So one of the things that I typically use is I talk about influencing like Jesus. What did Jesus do? He did not force anything to people. He told stories, and he used layman's terms to have a bigger understanding or bigger impact. So he took something simple, something complicated, and made it very simple. So for me, what I did is I took things that were complicated in the business world and made it very simple to layman's terms. And so that's how he was able to influence a lot of people. That's how a lot of people, when I say influence, they buy when I say buy, they receive whatever message he was saying because he made it simple. While a lot of entrepreneurs out there, they want to make it complicated. They want to look like, they're this big, show, and they want us I have the fancy cars. And I like to keep things simple. I'm very straightforward with the process. I keep it easy because at the end of the day, I know what people want. They want to save time, save money, make money. So I'm not here about the show. I don't have to spend millions of dollars in advertisement. Most of my clients are through referrals, word of mouth. And the point is if you tell versus sell, you actually will get more clients than trying to sell them, because people don't like to be sold to. So that's just one application I took from the Bible, because for me, I think Jesus is the best salesperson, in a sense where he actually transformed the world with his message. Whatever you're bringing to the table, he was like an epitome of the best salesperson, because he did it with love, he did it with truth, he did it with integrity, he did it with just he wowed people. They were like, what? Like, who is this guy? He shook the world system, and that's what I'm striving to be. And I always ask the Holy Spirit to help me do that. Like, I want to shake the world system and be like, no, I want to come in with like, what? You're doing that? Well, that's not normal. I want people to be like shocked, because I'm doing it God's way versus the world's way. So hopefully that kind of, that example kind of showed like how I took the things I saw in the scriptures and applied it to my business. And I think the true answer to that is knowing your customer. And when I say that, is know where they're at. So for example, you can't put a square in a circle. Square peg in a hole, in a circular hole. Like you can't force your product or service on somebody that doesn't fit it. So the key is knowing your target audience. So for example, I always say that there's always ways to get new clients. And the thing about it is you have to kind of be creative and innovative with your approach. So I have to, like, for example, in order for me to cut down my prices, I had to streamline things a bit, where I made a lot of the stuff that I would do in person more automated. So it cuts down my time. So my point is, if you know, for example, that they can't afford a certain price, why don't you come up with new ways so that you could cut your costs on your end, so that you could pass the cost savings to their end. So whether if it's changing, removing some of your programs, or changing the packaging, changing like what you incorporate in your package, or it could be utilizing technology to make it easier. So for me, something, I used to charge a lot, and I was able to deduct maybe about 40% off, because I started making everything electronic. So what I do is, like, for example, from a coaching standpoint, like, and I'm not afraid to share this stuff, because remember I told you I want to add value to, it doesn't matter who you are, even if you're my enemy, even if you're my competitor, I don't care. So what I've done is I took my comprehensive program, and I took everything that I knew I didn't have to do it in person, and I made assignments for individuals. So I have this comprehensive program where I send them an assignment that they have to do between our sessions. So by the time we get to the session, which are about 30 minutes or an hour long, I keep it short because that's attention span, is we're going straight to the meat. We're not going through the fluff. I already know your backstory. I already know all these things from your assignments. Now I'm going with you, and I'm spending less time with you in person, but not really, because I gave you all the information that you would need to get to that point. So my point is, I was able to help alleviate some of that cost, because I found out ways to save money on my end, so I could pass cost savings to the customers. So hope that makes sense. So that's a way to do it. Okay, so let's talk about branding. So there's two types of brand. There's the business brand, which is the product or service that you're presenting, but there's the personal brand. I always say people invest so much on the brand of their business, but they don't invest in their personal branding. People buy from people. So they're not buying. So it didn't matter what company I was representing. People were buying from my company, whatever I was representing, because they weren't buying from the company. It wasn't the product, because this product was pretty much the same across the board. It's the person. So it could be Nike, for example, that is the branding piece, the actual physical logo, and whatever that is, color schemes, all that stuff. Sales and marketing is the positioning of that brand. So the positioning of yourself, or positioning of your business. So that is like for avenues of presenting your brand. Sales itself is the actual transaction, closing the business, signing the deals. That's the sales process. So hopefully I clarified it. So branding is you and the business, like for example, Favor and Wealth. Then marketing is the basically the venue you use to position my brand, which could be emails, cold calls, not emails, emails, advertising, social media, so forth. And then the sales process is the cold calls, the meeting with clients, the contract signing, the handling negotiation, and ultimately signing the deal and getting the money. That's the sales. I turned down business from people who offered a lot of money, but because of their character. I was like, I do not need to. Like if you're cheating on your wife, I'm sorry, I don't want to work with you, kind of thing. And it wasn't with me, let me get that straight. But he was telling me about his side chick. But I'm just like, that's the kind of, I'm really a big, and that's the kingdom business way, right? You also have to pay attention to who you work with, because you're creating ties with, rolling alliances with the darkness, and you don't want to do that. So, I don't know, you didn't even ask me a question, but that's the reason why
It's good. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving this. It comes back to integrity, what you're just saying now. It comes back to integrity of the person. If I can't trust that you are going to be faithful with your wife, how are you going to be faithful in paying me on time? How are you going to be faithful?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. No, like you hit it right on the nail. And character speaks volumes, and like I said, I'm not, when you look at your business as that is not your source of your provision, but your source is God, you can make good executive, sound, wise decisions, because you're not going to be desperate for provision, because you know that your source is God. And I think that's what makes a difference between a regular entrepreneur and a kingdom-minded entrepreneur, because you know that your business is just an avenue for you to utilize your natural skills and abilities to spread the gospel through the marketplace. But ultimately, your provision is Him. And so you're not afraid of recession. You're not afraid of the pandemic. You're not afraid of whatever it is that the world may throw your way, because your strength, your foundation, your confidence is in something that's not breakable. It's Him. And it's an amazing thing. You just have so much freedom to know that He has you, and you really believe that. And it's such a freeing thing, to have that type of freedom to be like, whatever happens, I'm good. About the myth, I'll talk about, your person, like, okay, people buy from people, not the business, right? So knowing your strengths is important, because a lot of times what people do is you have a lot of copycats, okay? You have people who would start a business because they see so-and-so is successful in it, or they see, oh, they're making a lot of money, I'll start that business. So what they do is they try to copy them or make that thing be better by adding some sort of tricks or some sort of tools that they invest in. What I do differently is, before anything else, okay, before you do any of the, the setting up the business, getting the fancy website, doing any of that, you need to do a personal SWOT. Okay, you need to do a personal SWOT analysis, is knowing your strengths. Okay, because I can tell you that if you know your strengths and you work on your strengths, so let's say I know I'm good at building relationships. I know I'm good at sales. I know I'm good at personal development. So I focus my business on that. Yeah, I could do marketing. Yeah, I could do project management. Yes, I could do all these other things, but I'm not going to start a business on that because that's not my skill set. That's not my natural gifts and talents. And so what happens is, and I tell you this, even if you got like you wanted to work on your weaknesses, no one's going to pay for that, because even if you tried your best to work on your weaknesses, at best you'll be mediocre, right? And no one pays for mediocre. They pay for excellence. So what you do is you find what you're good at and you keep honing on that. You keep perfecting that. You keep sharpening that tool. You keep sharpening to make yourself even better and more marketable. And then when you keep doing that, people are going to be willing to pay you because that girl, that's her niche. And that's how you become a niche authority. That's how you find your niche. So for me, like I said, I know there's a lot of business coaches out there. There's a lot of programs out there. Do it yourself, hire the best, hire whoever, there's so many out there. But what makes me different is I only work with the good guys. So I took something about me, because I hate evil. I hate corruption. I hate lying. I hate stealing. I found that out when I was doing my SWOT. In fact, in my book, in my SWOT, my story, I'm going to show you this. It's so awesome. So I talk about my personal SWOT. So here's the questions to ask. And I even gave everybody my own personal SWOT right here. It's my strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and it says Edna. Okay. So let me tell you this. My strengths is I'm creative, I'm inspirational, leadership, driven, analytic, giving. I'm a team player, excellence, and integrity. Okay. Opportunities. So my point is I did this, and basically I've uncovered my business based on doing a personal SWOT. And then what I did was I took my personal SWOT and I said, how can I monetize my strengths? How can I take the most of my opportunities, right? So just to give them a teaser. So here's a question. If you didn't have a job, how would you choose to fill these hours? What activities make you lose track of time? What do people typically ask you for help in? What kinds of conversations do you have with your closest friends? Things like that. I mean, I literally, guys, I kid you not, like this is just 7 myths, but I have tons of secrets. If you know anybody, and again, the proof is in the pudding, right? I'm not just saying this. Go to my LinkedIn profile, look at all my recommendations, call my past employers. They'll tell you guys I'm a beast, and I'm not just trying to, float my bubble or whatever. I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know what the term is, but I'm not trying to do that, but I'm just trying to tell you guys this, like kingdom principles work, period. The Holy Spirit works, period. He is ultimately the CEO of every business I have. He is my advisor. He's my strategic partner. I go to him about everything. He gives me strategic insight in people's lives and business and industry and so forth. But I'm telling you guys, your answer to your business is him. And I'm literally going to say that. And I'm not afraid to say that. God is a genius when it comes to business. Most of the things he did was in the marketplace. Remember, Jesus was a carpenter. Okay, remember that for one. And most of the miracles he did wasn't in the church. It was in the marketplace. It was out in the streets. If you're a believer and you really feel like, you have to be in the church or something for God to use you, you are completely wrong. The best thing to do is follow our example of Jesus, to just share him through your lifestyle by being excellent in what you're doing, to bring glory to him. And then people are going to see that not only are you good at what you do, but you have something different, which is your character, your integrity, your love, your grace, your mercy, your joy, your peace, things that are intangible. Those things is what's going to help you reach them for God. Okay, this is what I want to say. For those of you guys who are in transition, you're in the pit, you want to get to the palace. You're in a broken place, you want to reign in your life. Let me tell you this, okay? Embrace the process. And here's the process. Surrender. Humble yourself before the Lord and say, Father, I messed up. I screwed up. I don't know where I went wrong. Show me. Open my eyes. Open my ears. Help me to see from your perspective. Learn from your past. Embrace the present and expect an amazing future. When you have that perspective to embrace and be content, the where you're at, purge away everything that doesn't belong in your life, everything that the Lord needs to remove, the past pains, the past hurts, the bad relationships, whatever it is, to prepare for where you're going. Once you embrace that process, it's going to be a lot sooner for you to get to your destiny. So here's my point. Don't give up. Don't quit. The process is the best part. I love the process. I learned to love the process because now that I've been through what I went through, I've overcome a lot of things. I've overcome bankruptcy. I've overcome divorce. I've overcome abuse. I've overcome losing everything, like literally everything in my life, but nothing that defined me. What defined me was who He is in me. And when you do that, when you see yourself the way that, how He sees you, none of this stuff in your life is going to matter, and you're just going to keep going forward and finish the race that's before you. Because guess what? You're more than a conqueror, and you can overcome with Jesus' help, with the Holy Spirit's help, and you could do anything. I'm telling you, anything is possible through Him if you continue to embrace the process and trust Him along the way.